Hey guys, this is the Motorcycle TransAm Podcast. A big shout out to all of our sponsors who are just as passionate about keeping this sport alive as we are. Legends Motorcycles, Sinless Cycles, Veritas Vintage, Competition Distributing, and the Antique Motorcycle Club of America. Thanks everybody. Hey everybody, it's Kelsey and Sean here with the TransAm. We're here with Tyler, and we're going to talk all about motorcycles.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you guys doing?
Good, real good.
Good, other than it's raining super hard here again. We had a beautiful day, but it's back to being not so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's tomorrow here.
Yeah, you're like a day behind us in weather where you're at. That makes sense.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's get started and let's talk a little bit about your background, your history, and kind of how you got into these antique bikes.
So my not real Uncle Jimmy, had ran a shop for, I don't know, probably 35 or 40 years. And when I was 5 or 6 years old, my father started bringing me around there, and he rode motorcycles, throughout my whole childhood as well. So I was always kind of around old bikes. I remember like a VL that was restored when I was probably 10 or 12 years old in my uncle's shop. That was called the Apple Tree bike. It was chained to an apple tree out in a field, and it was all rusted. And then it was brought back to life in that shop, and I kind of got to see all that stuff. And my uncle's shop also did that red Elias and Toboggan that's in Wheels Through Time Museum. So I watched that get put together when I was a kid as well.
Wow.
So I've just kind of always been around this stuff. I've always felt like I had an old soul and kind of been more into the older stuff and the history of old items and the way things were manufactured by hand, instead of, I think it's cool the technology we have today and the way everything's produced, but, it was just a different time, and the way they came about making their patterns and molds to produce all this stuff that, we still work with and ride around today is, pretty incredible.
Yeah, history is awesome, man. That's the best part of vintage motorcycles, in my opinion, is the past and keeping them alive,
Yeah,
and we add to it every day when we ride these machines on the road.
Right.
Yeah. Remind me where you're at.
I'm in Maine.
Okay, nice.
And I do ride when there's snow on the ground, so.
As long as there's not too much salt, right?
That's it. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's our only problem up here. It's
Yeah.
like they throw salt so bad everywhere. It's like it's hard to.
As soon as you get a nice day, you still can't really ride because there's still so much salt, and it'll rust everything out fast.
Yeah. Whole day cleaning a bike for a 15-minute ride.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how did you hear about the TransAm, and why did you kind of get into it?
So a lot of people know I had a pretty bad track record on the 23 Cannonball. Like, I'm just going to lay it out there. Like, we had a lot of bad stuff happen. If it could happen, it did. So when we heard about this, we figured, hey, we should try to jump on board and kind of try to redeem ourselves, even if we have the same type of luck we had on the 23 Cannonball. We're still going to have fun. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be fun no matter what.
Yeah, and don't feel bad. We blew bikes up cannonballs many times. It's not a new thing. So
I'm hoping I'm not going to have a problem now. My bike's currently in Kansas in the hands of the Unruhs, and
okay.
Oh, nice.
It's getting some much needed surgical operations, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They said they're working on a bunch of bikes for the race, but they haven't worked on their own yet. So.
Oh yeah.
It just what's the saying? The shoemaker always has the worst shoes out of everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What bike are you riding?
I'll be riding a 21J.
Nice.
It's the same bike that I rode in the Cannonball, only it was a 20 in the Cannonball. I broke those cases, so what are you gonna do?
Right. It happens. That's what happens when you got 100-year-old stuff. They get pretty fragile,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What modifications have you done to it to try to make it through, or what are the Unruhs doing?
I honestly don't know what they're doing, but I trust them enough to, make sure that I can ride it across country, given they know all the things that are capable of breaking.
Yeah.
Just kind of leave that there. I'm not really that easy on equipment.
Yeah.
But we changed My wheels are Sportster smooth rims, so they take a Dunlop 402 tire, just for a safety reason. You know, it was a positive upgrade. I believe if you're going to ride these old bikes on the road all the time, you should have safe tires. We did a brake conversion on the back so we can run knucklehead brake shoes and have better braking ability. And we've done a little bit of sealed bearing stuff, added some better lights and stuff like that, a functioning brake light and tail light. Nothing too crazy. I'm still running a single and no front brake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brakes are definitely like the biggest improvement you can make, especially like on these courses, because like, you know, our first day 3, I think it starts getting a little bit dicey with hills and stuff, you know, because we got to go down into mats area wheels through time. So, you know, brakes are a must-have. I know I had that issue in 21. I was riding a 13 single, and man, brakes was like always a big problem for us, you know. And I had a disc brake on there, but the problem was I had a mechanical caliper, so it still didn't really stop that well. And then the coaster brake for the rear Thor hub, those are just like super bad because those plates would seize up. I was like, we were in West Virginia, and I hit like this nasty hill and seized the whole rear tire up. It was brakes. That's like the best improvement you can make, I'd say. Other than
and then keeping an eye on them. I mean, you check your brakes every time you put gas in or check your oil, or I mean, it's an important step for sure.
Yeah, right.
So is this the only bike you have that's pre-25, or do you have other ones that you can choose from, and you chose this one for any special reason?
Well, I'm building right now a 13 single chain drive, but that won't be ready probably until, you know, whatever the next ride might be.
2027.
Yeah, so we're preparing for that. And I'm really not sure exactly what I want to do with that bike yet. It's kind of like a new project to me.
Gotcha.
Primarily, I just ride that 21 in events like this, and then I've got a 36V as well. But I mean, that's, you know, it'll be a few more years before that'll qualify for anything really exciting. Anyway, you know, it's too easy of a bike to ride. You know.
Yeah.
They go across pretty easy. I rode. Tom has a 36 VLH. And I did that in the Chase a few years ago. And it was like, I tell people this, they don't believe me, but George was with me so he can attest to it. But I didn't even adjust a chain on that bike. All I did was add oil, and I fixed one fucking wire. That was it. In like, you know, 2,300 miles, wherever we did.
Yeah, they're so predictable. Like, I feel like you almost can't include them in these type of rides because it's too easy for those guys.
Yeah. It's like a modern bike in a sense, you know, and peak events. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like how it is with some of these guys riding these Hendersons too. I mean, they're just so dependable. Like,
right.
I mean, I get it. They're cool. They're old, but they're just so dependable. It's, you know, it's hard to compete with that.
They motor right down the road. That's for sure. It's like riding a brand new Harley almost, you know?
Yeah. Right. And mostly I'm saying that because I'm probably jealous I don't have one, but you know.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's 100% what I am. I love them so much, but I talk crap because I don't have one. So.
So I know you talked about building the bikes like with your uncle and your dad. Do you have any other special memories tied to bikes that you want to talk about?
I mean, pretty much every ride has memories, you know, that I've ever really been on. I've been riding a motorcycle on the street since, I don't know, like 2000 or 2001. And then I rode dirt bikes since I was a little kid before that. So there's, you know, could go back into dirt biking stories, or, you know, times riding around in Daytona 9-10 years ago, watching Canadians crash off the side of the road on brand new bikes after giving some other guys in a bike group a hard time. You know.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just.
How old are you? You might be our youngest rider. Is he your youngest rider?
I'll be 39 in May.
Okay. We have maybe we have a few, but yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I wasn't sure how old you were, so I thought maybe you were the youngest, but you're close at least. If that makes you feel good.
It is what it is, right? That's good and bad, because that just means that I still have a lot to learn compared to some of these other guys that are going to be on this ride, you know?
Yeah. It's I will say it's definitely a heavy-ended sport when it comes to age. It's usually a lot of really older guys and not very much in between. So
Right.
Yeah, but people like us, all of us have to change that. So
yeah.
But it's about getting the right type of support behind us too, so we can all continue to do this stuff too.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize what it takes to prepare for this type of event and gear up and put your heart and soul and money and time and everything else into it. It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a. I always tell people it's like a 2-year commitment, pretty much. If you're going to sign up, then it's getting your thing to the line and then obviously keeping it running all the way across. But it's a lot of prep work, and you got to line everything up with your team and coordinate traveling with everything. It's just it's a lot to do. It's actually a pretty cool thing to actually be able to pull off, for sure. Anybody that's riding it, it's a big deal. So
yeah.
Let alone the amount of work it takes behind the scenes. Like, I don't even want to know.
That's a lot.
It's crazy. Yeah,
that's why we were a few minutes late, because I was finishing up a call with somebody else about something, something else.
It's pretty much her full-time job. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So before this, what's your favorite ride? I'm not talking necessarily like a race, like the Cannonball, but a ride, or it could be a race that you've done before.
The 23 Cannonball was pretty memorable, really, for a lot of the different places that I got to ride to. Riding through Zion National Park and the mountains in Colorado. And even though I didn't get to ride all the miles, like, I still got to ride some of that stuff every day. And just being able to lay eyes in a different way on parts of the country. Typically I'm passing through these places in a van or in a truck, or chasing stuff for motorcycles or going on a family vacation. But to be able to take that in while you're in the wind and on an old bike, there's just something to be said about it.
Yeah. How'd you go into Zion? Because I know the one way that we've gone in before, it's like, it's cool, super cool. And then you go into a tunnel, and then when you come out, it's just like the coolest thing you've ever seen.
The craziest winding downhill. You wish you had all the brakes in the world.
Yeah.
I drag boots all the way down that.
Okay, so that's the way you went. Yeah, so cool.
Wishing you had better brakes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I had a bad oil leak that day, so my brakes were covered in oil.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty much every day on those things.
It's a big thing to watch for.
What are you most excited about to do in the Trans Am? Like, obviously the route and everything, but what are you looking forward to?
Mostly I'm just looking forward to, generally the whole thing, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of stuff that we are looking forward to learning about that we don't yet know about. And I'm sure every stop is going to have something cool or fun to see at it. And really just hanging out with all the other riders and, being able to participate in the whole event, I guess. I guess the camaraderie and everybody getting together and telling stories and helping each other fix stuff. And it's really just, there's something to be said about that. And I think really that's what these events are all about. I know we all want to crush all the miles, and that's great if that all happens. But if it doesn't, then, there's other people there to help you through it and help you grow from it. And,
Yeah, that's the best part, is being with like-minded folks. It's like it really is a small world. It's like everybody's pretty much scattered from coast to coast. There's probably only a good 150, 200 total people that really get into this kind of stuff. So very, very small. So it's cool having all those people in one area, like you said, and kind of being able to ride with them and all that good stuff. So
how many people are signed up from other countries? Are there others from other countries?
Yeah,
there are. So we have a couple. I think they live in California now, but they're originally from Japan. They built the coolest bikes. So it's a husband and wife. So they're coming. There's a couple guys from Italy coming, and I think
cool.
1 or 2 Canadians.
Awesome. See, I think that's part of the excitement in the whole thing, is just being able to get other people from different parts of the world together and be able to just share, this all across as we all go across the country, whether we struggle or we have fun. I guess we're still having fun. So
Right.
Yeah, I know we were hoping that some of the Germans were going to come that have done some of these events before, so we'll see about them too.
Yeah. It's still pretty last minute stuff. I mean, I have a feeling like we're not full yet. I think we're over like about 50 some people I think signed up right now. Yeah, we're at like 50-ish something, but we're capping it at 75. I think where we're at is a few months out, I think you'll have some more experienced guys that have already have their stuff ready, and they kind of just been sitting back waiting to see what happens. They might jump in at the last minute, because she's like, over the last, I would say, month or so, she's been getting a lot more interest and phone calls other than the initial rush when we first announced that we were doing it. So it's one of those things, like, kind of wait and see if it's going to go and all that. And
it's definitely going, everybody. It's definitely going.
Yeah, that's why I did that post the other day, because we were down in, I saw you down there in Daytona, but we were down in Daytona, and we had a couple different people approach us and be like, hey, we heard that you guys are opening the rules for years. And I'm like, no. And then they said something about the not going possibly if we don't get enough. And I'm like, no. I was like, literally, if it's just me, her, and Tom, we're going. Like,
I heard this stuff, and I told people, I was like, I'm pretty sure if they had 25 people, they'd still be doing it.
Yeah. It's so much. Yeah. We've already put so much effort into this that it's like, no matter what, I said in the, so I was like, whether it's 10 of us, 20 of us, 100 of us, whatever.
And we already have more than that signed up, so we're good. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. You got to kind of like address it, because you know how it is. Like, people start talking about stuff and you're like, oh my God. And it all kind of turns into a big issue, So
yeah. And
it's a small community, and not everybody can hear words the same way.
Right. Yeah. And weird spins get put on crazy things in this world. So yeah,
and we like to be up for sure. Yeah. If something's going on, we're coming right to everybody and kind of telling them what's happening. So you will hear it directly from us. Communication is a thing that's why I send an email out to the riders every week. I
was just going to say that I really appreciate seeing that email.
Yeah, sometimes like from week to week, it's like not that much different, but sometimes it is. So I'm just want to keep everybody updated on what's going on. But yeah. So, I mean, we're getting there, and I think we're going to get full eventually.
Yeah, it'll be close. Like I said, we're already over 50, so it'll
there's still plenty of time, and stuff like this right now. I mean, that's what draws people in. They start watching a few podcasts, they start seeing a few advertisements, Right. That's also part of why I put the big logo on the side of my van, try to draw some people in too, and then I put all my sponsors on the back that are helping me on this ride go across the country.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. That's what it's cool. Like, people have done that in the past too, where you put like the big logo on your trailers and your vehicles and that stuff. I know Tom for the longest time. I think he drove around for like years with the old Cannonball stuff on the side of his van. It was like everybody knew it as a Cannonball van. So. Yeah,
we were just randomly parked in my sister's neighborhood with it once, and one of her neighbors came up and was like, I know somebody that rode in that. And I mean, we're just like, in Florida, like randomly. So that was pretty cool. So it's nice to see the logos.
Yeah.
How are you preparing mentally and physically for this? Because it's hard on your body. I know it is.
So typically after I work all day, a few times a week, I actually ride a stationary bicycle, like 15 or 20 miles. Mm-hmm. And then I ride year round in bad weather. So I get plenty of rides in. I typically ride rigid motorcycles. It's, I prefer to ride a bike that moves underneath of you instead of a bike that you move on,
Right.
The mental side of things, I mean, you can really only prepare so much for that. There's going to be something that breaks you. It doesn't matter what it's going to be something. Yeah. You just don't know what it is until it happens.
Yeah. Are you expecting any challenges? I mean, obviously there's going to be unexpected ones, but are there any challenges that you're already expecting and preparing for?
I mean, I thought I was ready a couple of weeks ago until I was cruising around in Daytona at 55 and the bike stopped running. So, no. That's why it's in Kansas.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So,
Well, hey, I'll say this, it's a lot better in Florida than on the route. So
Yeah.
That's a good
absolutely. So I'm glad it kind of worked itself out now. It was at just over the 600-mile mark and breaking on that one. So,
wow.
I don't know what happened, but it's in the right hands anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, those guys will get you fixed up.
I think the rest of what I need to be working on is, I guess just making sure that my guys from my construction company have everything set ahead of them, so I can be gone for a month without any road problems.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Things people don't think about. I got to get everything ready for my wife and my kids so they're good for the month while I'm gone and all that sort of stuff. So,
Right.
Now that I've done one of these rides, I know there's a lot more in the background that you have to really be prepared for.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Everything.
that's a big thing that nobody ever really talks about is like leaving home for a month and your entire life and your business and everything else.
Oh yeah.
That's probably one of the hardest things, other than actually preparing for the race itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I travel a lot for swap meets. Like I'm leaving this weekend to drive to the departure swap meet in Virginia, just to then for a day and drive home. But like, that's a quick, easy, short trip compared to being gone 16 days across the country, plus a couple of days travel time before, and a few 4 or 5 days travel time home when you're across the other side. And
exactly. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get much farther. You're pretty much as far as you can get at the end spot there.
Yeah.
You probably will win the prize for the longest return. Oh, I guess the guys from Italy. Those guys they have the longest, I guess.
In the United
States. Yeah.
Probably similar in time though. Their flight's probably still going to be shorter than my drive back, but
they'll be home before you for sure. Yeah.
So have you had a chance to look at the route at all? What spots are you looking forward to?
So I'm always looking forward to going to Wheels Through Time. I mean, if the shirt wasn't a giveaway.
We have the same one.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, it's just such a cool place,
Yeah.
And there's always things changing, which, is obviously one of the benefits of going there on a regular basis, because you get to see everything turn over and new exhibits and stuff he's added or moved around. I'm looking forward to, quite a few of the stops. I believe I saw on there we're going to an aviation museum. Is that Evergreen?
Yeah. That's like
I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to go to see that because I haven't been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that one has the spruce goose, so it's there's a tie-in with antique motorcycles history with the spruce goose, and so it's a perfect stop for us.
So, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I really haven't looked at like where every single stop is because I kind of want to be a little bit surprised with some of it, and
it's
really it's about what I'm going to see along the way every day. Once you guys give us directions and stuff, then
Yep.
It's some of the coolest
spots for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a cool route.
So do you have any funny or unusual times when you've been riding your bike of something that's happened that sticks out in your mind that you can tell us a story of?
On old bikes or late model bikes, or does it not matter?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the quick story that I kind of touched on earlier when I was in Daytona with the Canadians jumping over a median. So we're leaving a vintage motorcycle party one night, Rocky's party actually in Daytona, and my uncle and I, another guy, are cruising back to the place we were staying at, and my uncle was riding a little bit slow because it was dark and he's not probably the best at riding at night, but there was a lot of traffic glare and stuff. So me and the other guy got a little bit ahead of him, and he saw two black bikes, so he pulled in and merged with them. Well, it wasn't us. It was these two guys from Canada on two brand new CVO baggers. And judging by the way they were riding, they probably didn't have their licenses very long.
Oh, gosh.
So my uncle speeds past them and pulls up where we are, and now they're mad because he passed them, probably shouldn't have the way he did, whatever. Mm-hmm. So they ride up, they're screaming at us. We can barely understand what they're saying. The light turns green. We take off. They take off, all enraged. The one on the left-hand side hits the median. He jumps out in the road in front of us. He hits the ground. His bike lands sideways, the saddlebags blow open, and here he is laid out on his back like he's on a lazy boy, and he's sliding down the sidewalk.
Mhm.
Oh man!
And we just kept right on going.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he appeared fun. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he shook it off.
Do you have any weird habits or traditions before you ride one of these races that you do, or anything that you bring with you?
I mean, I carry a Morgan silver dollar around with me in my pocket like full time. I have since I was probably like 11 or 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my good luck, probably not so good luck piece. I don't know. But when I lose it, it always finds its way back to me. It's been in my pocket with me every day since, forever. So that's kind of like, I guess, my ritualistic thing. Other than that, like I have these habits of like probably checking my fuel and my oil about 8 or 10 times before I take off, even though I know I just filled it. But
I actually do that same thing. Like I get real paranoid with oil level for some reason.
Right, and I'm like, did I tighten these caps enough? Like I know they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I do that same thing. It's just like one of those things, like a mental check mark. Like, okay, I'm all right. And then as I'm going down the road, I'm like, wait,
did I check that 10 times?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people that are like looking to do this or wanting to get into it for the first time, that kind of thing?
I guess my advice would be, being one of the younger guys that does this stuff, if it's something you think you want to do, just figure out how to do it. Like there's a lot of guys that will help younger guys get into this stuff. Majority of them, I think, want to see younger guys get into it. Even though sometimes when they teach us things, it kind of seems like they don't. But I'm sure you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Just dive in.
Yeah.
I would say just dive in and do it. Like don't wish you would have done it and watched everybody else, have fun going across the country. If you've got an old bike and it qualifies and it's something you want to do, I think you should make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that's good advice.
I mean, there's guys that are going to be doing this that are probably in their 70s and they're probably more physically and mentally fit than some of these 20-year-old kids we know. So. Oh
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know a few 7-year-old dudes I wouldn't mess with. They're they're just they're also from a different time too. It's like they don't have things to slow them down. It's always them going 100 mile an hour. That's just the way they are.
But,
yeah.
What do you hope to achieve with this? Are you trying to get a certain place or just finish all the miles, or what are you kind of looking forward to this?
I just want to put down as many miles as I can, hopefully all of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's kind of everybody's goal. That's going to be a huge accomplishment in itself with 4,000 miles. I mean, we're pretty much right at 4,000 miles. So
yeah, I want to be able to pull into a location at the end of the day and get off my bike and have Jared, who will be with me, let the bike cool down and do his thing while I'm making a public post, making all the people that are behind me, proud and happy that I'm making miles and doing something successfully, and hopefully not posting stuff saying, hey, really glad I have all these people behind me, but I keep breaking shit every day.
Hey, it does happen though. You can't let yourself get too discouraged. It's just like, it's old stuff. I mean, I know you can rebuild it, but
yeah, and I don't let it discourage me. I mean, I have enough parts that I'm probably bringing with me to fix the bike a dozen times, but it's not what I want to have happen,
Yeah, exactly.
My goal is that I bring parts so that way other people need them, not me,
Yeah.
It's you versus your machine. I get you. Like at the end of the day, it's not about winning anything. It's about you being able to say, hey, I did, all the miles and we made it. That's definitely the biggest accomplishment, I think. So.
Yeah, but it's like a 70-30 thing. I think it's like 70% the motorcycle and 30% the rider.
Yeah.
We got to make sure those bikes are running like a top, and they're not meant to ride that. They were never built to ride the type of miles that we're putting on in these events.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, somehow these guys did it without roads and without all the technology we have. I know they weren't built for that, but there's guys that did it, and that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a lot of them. You can count on one hand pretty much. But.
Yeah, it's like you said though, those people are built different.
yeah, there's a different breed of people altogether for sure.
Yeah. Why is preserving historic motorcycles important to you personally?
So I really just like history. Like, I like the history of American-made motorcycles. I like the history of like the Depression era, the history and engineering of old buildings in America, just kind of all of that stuff. You know, the iron ages of production and manufacturing in the United States. I just feel that all this old stuff has great stories to tell if they could tell it, and it deserves to be taken care of and continue its legacy or lifetime. We're really just the caretakers.
Yeah. Moving on to the next generation. That's all you can hopefully pass it off and get a few people to get the bug and keep it going.
Yeah, like all this stuff that's behind me. I mean, it's all stuff, but it's all old stuff that has stories to tell.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna do some rapid fire questions with you.
Oh gosh.
So
she
get ready. I do that, and it usually turns out to be not rapid fire at all.
No.
They usually just talks. What's your favorite vintage motorcycle brand?
Harley Davidson.
What's the dream bike that you'd like to own someday?
Probably like a Teens Miami single or something like that. I really like those Miamis.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Especially like original paint. They got great color schemes and a little bit of their own little different flair compared to some of the other American brands. And I mean, I know there's a lot of different brands to choose from in that time period, but
yeah, you're the first to say Miami. That's a new one. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, everybody probably goes with like a Flying Merkle or a Henderson, right?
It's actually been pretty much just Henderson and Harley. And
Tim Burns said what his dream motorcycle was, and then I think 2 weeks later he ended up getting it.
Yeah, we were at Meekum. He got it out there. And
that sounds about right. He's got pretty good luck and good timing. He's pretty busy game for sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite tool in your garage?
Well, all this old stuff that I work on and have to manipulate, and pretty much everything that I start with is frozen or stuck. I'd probably say the torches.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
When you're on the road, do you drink coffee or tea in the morning?
Always coffee.
And if you could ride anywhere in the world right now, where would you ride?
That's a tough one. I really want to ride across Europe.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I wouldn't care if I even did it on a late model bike. I just want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some awesome roads over there for sure.
But I'd like to ride old bikes from somewhere in the United States, like, down to the bottom of Mexico. I think that'd be a good ride.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Danger Dan, he's done that a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but has he done it on old bikes?
He's done it on his tractor.
Yeah.
He did it on his pan shovel. I know.
I bet that was quite the ride.
Yeah. Yeah. He's done some crazy stuff down there. You'll like him. He's got some. Well, you might already met him. I don't even know, but
I've met him before, but I haven't actually had a formal introduction or gotten to sit down with him. And I'm kind of looking forward to that because he seems like he's a little bit of wild that I wished I could be. Yeah.
He kind of lives everybody's dream. He's like the guy, the free spirit that just kind of does whatever he wants. He's one of those guys. But his stories are awesome. Like riding down there, and when he did the Pan American Highway, when he rode all the way down to South America, the stories from that I'm sure you'll hear him because he's good at telling them. They're pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted Tom to say hi to everybody because he's not always here when we're doing these.
Yeah.
Hey, motorcycle road out there. Hey, Tyler, glad to have you aboard, man.
Thank you. It's good to see you. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great event, and I'm looking forward to all the things in store that we don't yet know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit of it. She's keeping stuff pretty secret, mostly. I don't even know anything that's really going on. So.
No, I mean, just the stuff with big announcements. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, though. That's kind of part of the thrill of the whole thing, too, you know?
Yeah,
I
sure
think so.
is.
Like the not knowing the route and stuff until, you know, the morning of or whatever, and all that good stuff. I mean, that's the best stuff, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. Do you have any closing thoughts or messages for everybody?
I guess I just want to tell everybody that's going to be watching, I hope you guys enjoy everything that happens while we're all, you know, risking our lives and having fun on a daily basis riding across the country. And two, I want to make sure, you know, wish all the other riders, you know, to be safe, and encourage everybody spends the extra time to check their machines over and, you know, make improvements if they think they need any, or reach out to other people that have done it, because there's a wealth of knowledge in this community. And, you know, I don't think anybody should be second guessing or questioning anything last minute.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So that's it, everybody. It was nice to see you, Tyler, and we'll be back again next week.
Thanks for coming on, man. Nice having you.
Appreciate it, Tyler.
Bye.
Right.